y'all didn't know, this is the MSC, and frankly, there's just too many white people in here, and this is a space for people of color. So just be really cognizant of the space that you're taking up, because it does make some of us POCs uncomfortable when we see too many white people in here. It's only been open for 4 days, and frankly, there's the whole university for a lot of y'all to be at, and there's very few spaces for us. So keep that in mind. Thank you.
No, there's no racism against white people. That's crazy. What a ridiculous thing to think or say. First, she starts by literally saying that white people are not welcome. Then she goes on to talk about how people of color feel uncomfortable around white people. Uncomfortable. Imagine a white person saying they feel uncomfortable around a person of color. And then she's going to go on to say that white people, well, they could freely roam around the university. The entire university is for them. There's not many spaces for people of color, which is such a ridiculous argument. Every single student in every single university across this country has to abide by the same rules. There is not a single university in this country where you can find a text or a guide or a handbook or even any sort of enforcement that would prove this theory to be correct. Not one. But it doesn't matter, because the narrative today is that at one point, well, white people were able to freely roam around, and other people of other races and cultures and religions were not. So because at one point that happened, well, now it's almost like a getting back. You know, we're getting back at the white people for doing that. But it's ridiculous, because all of the white people today, well, we've never taken any part in anything of the sort. We've never taken part in for the most part, in racist behavior or activity or any sort of structures that have been racist. For the most part, most white people here in America today have conducted themselves in a perfectly respectful and professional manner. Yet, they're going to pay for what people did before them that looked like them, that had the same skin tone as them. That seems, what's the word for it? Yeah, it seems awfully racist. It seems like something that the civil rights movement fought against for a very long time, making sure that we are not holding an entire race or group of people accountable for the actions of some, or in this case, for the actions of people that were alive when we weren't alive. But ultimately, it doesn't matter, because people enjoy being the victim. If you're the victim, you can never be held responsible for anything, right? If you don't get the job that you wanted, well, it's because of something else, right? If you don't get into the college that you, well, it's because, of something else. If you don't, anything in any situation, if you get pulled over, well, it's because of something else. No matter what, it's about responsibility. And when you can be victim, when you can play victim, well, you never have to take responsibility. And that kind of makes life maybe a little bit easier for you. But not for me. I just can't live with not taking responsibility for my actions or for my losses or for anything that happens to me in my life. Even if something is not necessarily my fault, if it happens to me, I will somehow take responsibility for it. I can't live with myself pointing the finger and going, it's that person, it's those people. I definitely couldn't live with pointing the finger going, it's an entire race of people. It's 1 billion people that maybe they weren't alive, but it's their fault. I could never do it. But most importantly, I think it's just getting a little bit scary. I think it's just, we're obviously seeing like people deliberately, like openly, obviously being racist against white people. I mean, we're in a situation where these are college campuses where there's white people being told like, hey, you're not really welcome in this part of the college. Like, I'm sorry, but like when we've seen this in the past and throughout history, it's not good. When we saw it happen to black people in this country, it wasn't good. When we saw it happen to Jewish people in Europe, it wasn't good. No matter where it's happened before, it never turns out good. So the idea that like this sort of behavior or rhetoric should continue, or that it's somehow justifiable, you should really rethink some of your thoughts on it. Because at the end of the day, we're all human, and none of us should be held accountable for actions other people. So, just something to think about.